I have seen the way you pace the floor of your current kitchen, tracing the worn lines of the linoleum while your heart beats a rhythm of uncertainty that only I can hear. You are standing at the threshold of a massive change, looking out at the horizon of a new home, a new city, or perhaps a new life, and your hands are shaking as you hold the metaphorical keys. You call this a relocation, a logistical hurdle, or a financial risk, but I call it a replanting. I have watched you outgrow the pot you are currently in. I have seen your roots circling the bottom, restricted by the walls of your present circumstances, and I know that for you to bloom in the way I designed, you must be moved to richer soil. Do not let the spirit of anxiety convince you that you are wandering into a wilderness. I am the architect of the heavens and the earth, and do you truly believe I would draw the blueprints for your future without including a roof to cover your head and a foundation to hold your weight? I am addressing the knot in your stomach, the one that tightens every time you look at your bank account or scroll through the listings of places that seem just out of reach. I see the invisible ledger you keep in your mind, the one where you add up the moving costs, the deposits, and the price of starting over, only to conclude that the math doesn't work. My child, stop trying to solve a divine equation with earthly arithmetic. I am the one who multiplied the loaves and the fish, and I am the one who will multiply your provision in this season of transition. If I have placed the desire for this move in your spirit, I have already signed the checks in the spiritual realm to cover the cost. You worry about being lonely in a place where no one knows your name, but I am already there, walking the hallways of that future dwelling. I am in the smile of the neighbor you haven't met yet. I am in the light that will filter through your new bedroom window at dawn. This specific journey you are contemplating, marked in my records as the transition of the 1813th degree, is not an accident of fate. It is a calculated move of my hand to position you for a blessing you cannot yet conceive. There is a specific piece I am releasing to you right now, a frequency of 1813 Hz for your soul, a resonance that clears away the fog of what if and replaces it with the clarity of I will. You have spent too many nights mourning the comfort of the familiar, fearing that by leaving you are losing a part of yourself. But I tell you, you are not losing your identity. You are shedding a skin that has become too tight. The walls of your current home have absorbed your prayers, your tears, and your laughter, and they have served their purpose as a cocoon. But the butterfly does not stay in the silk once its wings are formed. You feel the pull of the new because your wings are ready. Do not let the fear of the unknown paralyze you. The unknown is simply the place where I perform my most spectacular miracles. I have prepared a table for you in this new land, and the guests are already being summoned. There are connections, opportunities, and friendships waiting for you that could never find you in your current location. You are being moved not just for your comfort, but for your calling. There is someone in that new neighborhood who needs the light you carry. There is a purpose for your presence in that specific zip code that goes far beyond the four walls of a house. When you feel the cold shiver of financial dread, remember that I own the cattle on 1,000 hills and the gold in every mine. I am shifting the hearts of landlords, bank officers, and sellers even as you read this. I'm making a way where the world says there is a dead end. Trust the nudge. Trust the quiet whisper that tells you to pack the boxes. Trust the peace that surpasses understanding. You are not being evicted from your comfort. You are being invited into your destiny. I am with you in the packing, I am with you in the transit, and I will be the first one to cross the threshold with you when you finally turn the lock. This is not just a change of address. It is an upgrade of your faith. Take the step, my beloved child, for my hand is beneath your feet, and I will not let you stumble. The keys are already being forged in the fire of my love, and the door is swinging wide even now. Look at the way the light currently filters through the blinds of your living room, casting long, familiar shadows that you have come to know as markers of the passing day. You have found a rhythm here, a predictable cadence of existence that feels safe. But safety, my child, is not the same as destiny. I am the God who called Abraham out of his father's house and led Moses through the parted sea, not to leave them wandering, but to bring them into a spacious land. Your current walls have witnessed your tears, your victories, and your quietest moments of growth, but they have also become a container that is now too small for the expansion I am performing within your soul. Do not be afraid of the hollow sound of an empty house. That echo is not a sign of loss. It is the sound of space being made for the new things I am about to speak into your life. When you look at the stacks of cardboard boxes, do not see them as a burden of labor, but as vessels of transition. Each item you wrap in paper is an act of closure, a deliberate honoring of the past while preparing for the future. I see the weariness in your hands and the occasional sting of doubt in your mind when you look at the sheer volume of what must be moved. I am there in the physical strain, offering you a strength that is not your own. I am in the sorting of the attic and the clearing of the closets, helping you decide what belongs in your next season and what must be left behind. You cannot carry the weight of yesterday's baggage into tomorrow's blessing. I am teaching you the art of letting go, of traveling light, and of trusting that what you leave behind will be replaced by something of far greater value. Think of the new kitchen, where the counters are yet bare and the air is still. I have already stood there. I have envisioned the laughter that will ring out over shared meals, the conversations that will bridge the gap between strangers and friends, and the quiet mornings where you will sit with your coffee and find my presence waiting for you in the stillness. I am the architect of your environment. I have carefully selected the orientation of the windows so that you might see the colors of the sunset I have painted specifically for your comfort. I have walked the perimeter of the yard, marking the ground where you will plant seeds of hope and watch them bloom into testimonies of my faithfulness. You worry about the neighborhood, the unfamiliar streets, and the faces you do not yet know. But I tell you, I have already been knocking on the doors of your future neighbors. I am preparing their hearts to receive the kindness you carry. There is a specific person on that street who has been praying for a sign that I have not forgotten them, and you are the answer to that prayer. You are not just moving into a house. You are being deployed as a beacon of my light into a community that needs your specific frequency of grace. And what of the financial questions that keep you awake, those whispering, what-ifs, that try to steal your peace? I am the provider who fed the 5,000 with a boy's lunch and brought water from a rock. Do you think I would lead you to the threshold only to abandon you at the door? The resources you need are already in transit. They may not appear as a mountain of gold all at once, but they will arrive as the daily manna you require. I am moving in the minds of those who handle your paperwork, softening the hearts of those who hold the keys, and aligning the timing so that everything falls into place with the precision of a master clockmaker. Trust the process of the in-between. The transition is often the place where your faith is most refined, where you learn that I am not just the God of the destination, but the God of the journey. I am with you in the dust of the packing, the chaos of the loading, and the uncertainty of the first night in an unfamiliar bed. I am your true north, your constant home, the one who never changes even when everything around you is in flux. Take heart, for the discomfort you feel is merely the stretching of your tent pegs. You are being enlarged. You are being upgraded. You are being positioned for a level of fruitfulness that you could never have achieved in the place you are leaving. So wrap the next glass with a smile. Seal the next box with a prayer. The land I am giving you is a land flowing with milk and honey, and I am already there, waiting to welcome you home. I see you standing in the hallway of the new place, the smell of fresh paint and old wood mingling in the air. You will feel a moment of disorientation, a sense of being a stranger in a strange land. But in that moment, close your eyes and listen. You will hear my voice saying, "Welcome home, my child." I have prepared this place for you. Every nook and cranny has been consecrated for your journey. There is a room where you will dream dreams that change your legacy. There is a porch where you will find the peace you have been chasing for years. I am turning the lock with you. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a magnificent new chapter where my glory will be revealed in ways you cannot yet imagine. Do not fear the unknown, for the unknown is where I do my best work. The keys are yours. The door is open. Walk through with your head held high, for I am walking right beside you, and my favor is the very air you breathe. As you step deeper into the living room, notice how the light pools on the floorboards, a golden invitation to rest. I have counted the dust motes dancing in those beams, each one a tiny witness to the peace I am establishing here. You have carried the weight of the transition on your shoulders like a heavy mantle, worrying about the logistics, the finances, and the sheer exhaustion of the change. But I want you to look at your hands. They are the hands I have used to build a life, and now they are the hands I am using to receive a gift. The old walls you left behind served their purpose. They held your growth, your struggles, and your prayers, but they were no longer large enough to contain the person you are becoming. This new space has been measured to the exact dimensions of your expansion. When you stand in the kitchen for the first time, preparing a simple meal, feel the grounding resonance of the earth beneath the foundation. That floor is solid because I have set it upon the rock of my promises. There will be mornings when the sun hits the countertop at just the right angle, reminding you that my mercies are new every time the world turns. I have seen the boxes you haven't yet unpacked, the ones labeled miscellaneous, that contain the fragments of your uncertainty. Do not rush to hide them away. We will sift through them together. In this home, there is no need for pretension. You do not have to be the perfect architect of your own destiny here. You only need to be the resident of my grace. I am in the silence of the empty cupboards, waiting to fill them with abundance. I am in the creak of the stairs, a rhythmic reminder that every step you take upward is supported by my strength. Think back to the nights in your previous dwelling when you felt a stirring in your spirit, a restlessness that you couldn't quite name. That was my spirit whispering that it was time to move, time to let go of the familiar to make room for the miraculous. You feared that by leaving, you were losing a part of yourself, but I tell you, you are only shedding a skin that had become too tight. Look at the windows of this new house. They are wide and clear, designed to give you a fresh perspective on the world outside. Through these panes, you will see the seasons change, and with each turning leaf and falling snowflake, you will see a different facet of my faithfulness. There is a specific corner in the hallway where the shadows seem to linger a bit longer in the evening. Do not let them frighten you. Even the shadows here are under my command, providing a cool shade for your soul to retreat when the world feels too bright and loud. I have spoken to the very atmosphere of this neighborhood on your behalf. The people you will encounter, the neighbor who is secretly praying for a friend, the postman who needs a kind word, the children who will play on the sidewalk. They are all part of the tapestry I am weaving around you. You are not just moving into a building. You are being planted in a mission field where your presence will be a healing balm. Remember the garden you dreamed of. The soil here is rich and waiting. It has been dormant, holding its breath for your arrival. As you plant your seeds, you will find that the act of digging into the dirt mirrors the way I am digging into the hidden places of your heart, removing the stones of resentment and the weeds of anxiety. I am preparing you to bloom in ways that will startle you with their beauty. On your first night here, when the house is finally quiet and the boxes are stacked like fortresses in the dark, lay your head down and exhale. That first breath of sleep in a new sanctuary is sacred. I will be the watchman at your door. I will be the warmth in your blankets. I will be the quiet pulse in your temples. You have spent so much of your life preparing for others, building walls to protect your heart, and navigating the maps that others drew for you. But in this house, I am the only cartographer. I am drawing a new map of your soul, one where the landmarks are joy, resilience, and unshakable hope. Notice the fireplace, or the place where the heat gathers. It is a symbol of the hearth I am building within you. No longer will you be a wanderer searching for a place to belong. You belong here because I have called you here. You belong to me, and therefore, every square inch of this property is under my protection. When you feel the inevitable pang of nostalgia for what you left behind, acknowledge it, but do not let it anchor you to the past. The past was a classroom. This is your laboratory of light. There are secrets hidden in the architecture of this life that I am only beginning to reveal to you. There is a closet where you will hang your coats, but it is also where you will hang the heavy burdens you have insisted on carrying for far too long. Leave them there. Walk into the rest of the house unencumbered. I am doing a work in the plumbing of your spirit, clearing out the blockages of old hurts so that the living water can flow freely through you. You will find yourself singing in the shower, a song you haven't hummed in years, a melody of liberation. This is the sound of a heart finding its rhythm again. Even the mundane tasks, scrubbing the floors, hanging the curtains, organizing the pantry, will become acts of worship because you are doing them in the light of my favor. I have gone before you to check every seal and every bolt. Nothing here is accidental. The height of the ceilings is a reminder to look up. The breadth of the rooms is a reminder to expand your expectations. Do not settle for a small life in a big house. I am calling you to take up space, to fill these rooms with your laughter, your prayers, and your very essence. There will be guests who enter this door, people who are broken and seeking, and they will cross the threshold and instantly feel a shift in their spirit. They won't know why, but you will. It is because the King of Glory has taken up residence here with you. This home is a lighthouse, and your life is the lamp. As the days turn into weeks, you will start to see how the architecture of this move mirrors the architecture of your destiny. Every delay you faced in the closing, every frustration with the movers, every moment of doubt, it was all part of the tempering process. I was preparing you to handle the weight of this blessing. You are stronger now than you were when you first started looking for a new place. Your faith has been stretched, and like a muscle that has been worked, it is now capable of holding more. Do not worry about the things that still feel unfinished. The to-do list is long, but my done list is eternal. I have already completed the work of your sanctification. The house is just the backdrop. Sit on that porch in the twilight and watch the stars come out. They are the same stars that guided the patriarchs, the same stars that announced my birth, and they are the same stars that shine over your new roof tonight. They are a reminder that my perspective is vast, yet my focus is intimately on you. You are the center of my affection in this moment. The transition is not just about moving your furniture. It is about moving your trust from your own ability to my sovereign hand. You are safe here. You are loved here. You are home here. And we have only just begun to explore the wonders I have tucked away in the corners of this new beginning. Look into those literal corners now, where the shadows of the evening begin to gather, and realize that even the dark spaces of this house are under my watch. As you walk through these halls, let your hand brush against the walls, feeling the texture of a dream that has finally taken physical form. I saw you when you packed that last box in the old garage, the one you taped shut with a mixture of exhaustion and a strange, lingering sadness. You were leaving behind more than just a building. You were leaving behind a version of yourself that you no longer need to be. That version was defined by the struggles of that season, by the walls that felt like they were closing in. But here, the ceilings are higher and the air is clearer. I have cleared the atmosphere for you. Notice how the light in this new kitchen changes as the morning progresses. It starts as a pale, cool silver, catching the edges of the countertops you haven't quite cleared yet, before warming into a honey gold that spills across the floorboards. I was there when you measured these rooms with a heart full of both hope and a trembling sort of dread, wondering if you were making a mistake, if you were stepping out of my will or merely into a different kind of wilderness. Let those fears rest now. I am the architect of your days, and I do not build on shifting sand. Every square inch of this foundation is known to me. I see the box labeled kitchen that you haven't had the energy to open, the one that contains the chipped blue mug you've carried since your first apartment. That mug is a witness to every tear you've shed into your coffee over the years, every silent plea for direction, and every sigh of relief when a storm passed. Do not be ashamed of your weariness. You have carried more than just boxes. You have carried the weight of your own history. Here, in this new light, I am inviting you to set down the burdens that do not belong in these rooms. The hallway is long and quiet right now, but soon it will ring with the rhythm of your life, the sound of your footsteps as you check the locks, the laughter of friends who haven't yet walked through your door, and the soft sighs of a soul finally finding its pace. You worried that the move was a retreat, a step backward from the life you thought you were building, but I tell you, it is a replanting. A tree cannot grow tall if its roots are constantly bumping against the edges of a pot that has become too small. I have brought you to this soil because it is rich with the nutrients your spirit specifically needs for the season ahead. Look at the garden out back. It looks overgrown and wild to your eyes, a daunting task of weeding and pruning, but to me, it is a canvas of hidden potential. There are seeds buried there by hands that lived here long before you, dormant gifts waiting for your specific care to wake them up. Life is like that, full of latent beauty that only reveals itself when we are willing to stay long enough to see the seasons change. Do not rush to decorate every wall or fill every shelf. Let the emptiness speak to you for a while. It is a holy silence, an invitation to breathe without the clutter of the past pressing in. I know your bank account feels smaller than you'd like, and the list of repairs feels larger than your strength, but my provision is not a one-time transaction. It is a daily manna. I will give you what you need for the leaky faucet on Tuesday and the strength for the heavy lifting on Saturday. You are not alone in this renovation. I am the one who breathes life into these walls. When you walk through the rooms at night, feeling the strangeness of the layout, remember that I am the one who mapped out your boundaries. This isn't just a change of address. It is a change of perspective. You are learning that your security doesn't come from the familiar groans of the floorboards in your old house, but from the shepherd who walks with you through every door. I saw the way you lingered at the threshold of your old home, touching the doorframe one last time. I felt the ache in your chest as you turned the key and walked away. It is okay to grieve what was. Every yes to the future requires a goodbye to the past. But I am not the God of the dead. I am the God of the living, and I am already standing at the center of your new living room, waiting for you to realize that my presence is the only true home you will ever have. Think of the keys in your pocket. They feel heavy, don't they? They are cold metal, but they represent a hot coal of transformation. In your old life, you knew which floorboards to avoid so you wouldn't wake the house, but here, every sound is a new vocabulary. I want you to learn the language of this place. It is a language of rest. I saw you looking at the dining area, imagining the table that isn't there yet. I see the meals that will be shared, the bread that will be broken, and the prayers that will rise like incense from that spot. You think you are just moving furniture, but I am arranging your destiny. There is a specific window in the upstairs room where the sunset catches the clouds just right. I designed that view for your moments of discouragement. When the bills feel too high or the loneliness tries to creep in through the vents, go to that window. Look at the colors I paint across the sky and remember that the same hand that manages the galaxies is the hand that holds your life. You are not a tenant here. You are a steward of a gift. I have placed you in this specific neighborhood because there is a neighbor 3 houses down whose prayer for hope is going to be answered by your presence. You don't have to have it all together to be a blessing. You just have to be present. I am the one who orchestrates the chance meetings at the mailbox and the brief conversations over the fence. Even your hesitancy is something I can use. I love the way you try to be so careful, so sure of my will, but I want you to know that my will is not a tightrope you are going to fall off of. It is a wide, spacious meadow where you can run. This house is a part of that meadow. So, when you feel the overwhelm of the unpacking, stop. Feel the air in the room. It is filled with my spirit. The mistakes of the last house stay at the old address. The regrets you slept with for years did not get packed in the moving truck. I didn't allow them on board. You are starting fresh, not because of the new paint, but because of the new mercies I have prepared for you. This is the place where we will rewrite the narratives you've believed about yourself. We will replace not enough with abundant. We will replace stuck with stationed. You are stationed here for a purpose, a holy assignment disguised as a domestic change. Breathe it in. The scent of the new carpet, the smell of the cleaning supplies, the faint aroma of the rain hitting the sidewalk. These are the scents of a new chapter. And though the pages are still mostly blank, I have already written the ending, and it is good. It is very good. Do not judge the journey by the soreness of your muscles. Judge it by the expansion of your heart. You are more resilient than you know, and you are more loved than you can imagine. We are building something here that cannot be measured in square footage or resale value. We are building a sanctuary of the soul. Rest your head on the pillow tonight knowing that the angels have been assigned to every window and every door. You are under my wing, and this roof is just a physical manifestation of the shelter I have always provided. Sleep now, for the morning will bring a different light, and I will be there to greet you when you open your eyes, ready to walk you through the next room of this beautiful, unfolding story. The dawn arrives not as a loud proclamation, but as a soft, amber invitation, creeping across the hardwood floors of your new living room like a silent blessing. Notice how the light here is different from the old place. There, the sun was filtered through the heavy canopy of the neighbor's ancient maple, casting long, melancholic shadows by mid-afternoon. Here, the light is courageous. It strikes the walls with a clarity that might feel exposing at first, revealing the scuffs on the baseboards or the places where the previous inhabitants hung their own memories. But do not turn away from this brightness. It is the light of a new honesty. I am clearing away the cobwebs of your former hesitation. When you reached for the coffee pot this morning and instinctively turned toward the wrong cupboard, searching for a layout that no longer exists, you felt a brief sting of displacement. That is not a sign of a mistake. It is the stretching of your soul's geography. You are learning to inhabit a larger version of your own life. I watched you yesterday, sitting on that lone chair amidst a sea of cardboard, holding that chipped ceramic mug that has followed you through 3 different zip codes. I know why you hold onto it so tightly. It is a witness. It remembers the tears you shed over the kitchen table in the house with the drafty windows, and it remembers the laughter that rang out during that one summer when everything felt possible. You feared that by leaving those walls, You were leaving the you that lived within them. But I tell you, you are the carrier of the sanctuary. The house does not hold the peace. You hold the peace, and you have simply brought it to a new altar. Look at the box in the corner, the one marked Office Miscellaneous, in your hurried, tired handwriting. Inside, tucked between the old journals and the spare cables, is the photograph of your grandmother. Her eyes in that faded print mirror the very resilience I have woven into your DNA. She moved across oceans with less certainty than you have moved across this town. She understood that home is not a static point on a map, but a rhythmic pulse of the heart in sync with my will. Listen to the house as it settles. Houses breathe, you know. They expand in the warmth of the day and contract in the cool of the evening, a physical mimicry of the human spirit. The unfamiliar clicks and groans of this structure are not warnings. They are the house introducing itself to you. It is getting used to the weight of your step and the sound of your voice. I have already begun to infuse the very insulation of these walls with the prayers you haven't even prayed yet. I have paved the driveway with the strength you will need for the winters to come, and I have planted the seeds of joy in the soil of the backyard, waiting for the spring when you will finally feel like you can dig your fingers into the earth and claim it as your own. You worried about the neighborhood, wondering if you would find a tribe here. Do you see the woman 2 doors down who spends her mornings deadheading her geraniums? I have placed her there for a reason. And the young couple across the street, struggling with the stroller and the groceries. They are looking for the very light that you carry, though they don't know it yet. You are not just a tenant or an owner. You are a beacon I have repositioned to illuminate a different corner of my world. Your presence here is an intervention of grace. Every time you hang a picture or choose a color for a wall, you are participating in the act of creation. You are saying to the universe, I am here, and I am making something beautiful. Do not be overwhelmed by the stacks of things yet to be done. The unpacking of a life takes time, and I am in no hurry. I am the God of the process, the God of the transition. I am in the bubble wrap and the packing tape just as much as I am in the finished, polished outcome. When your back aches and your mind feels cluttered with logistics, the changing of addresses, the setting up of utilities, the finding of the nearest grocery store, take a moment to stand in the center of the room and simply breathe. Close your eyes and feel the air. It is fresh. It is untainted by the ghosts of your past mistakes. In this house, those old narratives have no power unless you invite them in. I have set a guard at the threshold of your mind. Think back to the moment you made the final decision to sign the papers. Remember the sudden, sharp silence that fell over your spirit. That was not the silence of a void. It was the silence of a transition, like the moment between a conductor raising his baton and the first note of the symphony. You are in that first note now. It might feel dissonant or lonely because it is a solo, but soon, the rest of the arrangement will join in. You will find the rhythm of the new commute, the specific way the rain sounds on this particular roof, and the secret places in this house where the sunlight lingers longest in the evening. There is a closet here, the one under the stairs, that will become a place of deep prayer. There is a window in the bedroom that will offer you a view of the moon that will remind you of my constancy, even when the world feels like it is shifting beneath your feet. You are not just moving furniture, you are moving into a higher frequency of trust. You are letting go of the safety of the known to embrace the adventure of the provided, and I am the great provider. I have seen the way you looked back at the old house one last time, your hand on the doorknob, feeling a pang of guilt for leaving. Release that now. That house has finished its work in you. It was the cocoon. This is the sky. It served its purpose in shielding you while you grew, but you have outgrown its dimensions. You cannot become who I am calling you to be. while standing in the footprint of who you used to be. Tonight, when the sun dips below the horizon and the streetlights flicker to life, providing a new constellation for you to follow, I want you to walk through each room. Touch the walls. Lay your hands on the countertops. Whisper a blessing over the space where you will sleep and the space where you will eat. You are sanctifying this ground. You are reclaiming the mundane and making it holy. I am right there beside you, our shadows mingling on the uncarpeted floor. We are not just building a residence. We are cultivating a garden of the spirit, and every box you unpack is a seed planted in the fertile soil of your new beginning. There is more I want to show you, more secrets hidden in the architecture of this season, but for now, just be. Just exist in the now of this newness. The next will take care of itself because I am already there, waiting for you to arrive. As the moon rises to claim its peak, I want you to notice the way the shadows of the branches dance across your new bedroom wall. It looks like calligraphy, doesn't it? An ancient language written in the ink of the night, telling a story you haven't yet learned to read. You are worried that this house is too quiet, that the silence will echo with the things you left behind, the laughter that filled your previous hallway, the comfort of knowing which floorboard would groan under your weight at 3 in the morning. But listen closer. This silence isn't empty. It is pregnant with the songs we have yet to sing. You brought that one chipped ceramic mug with you, the one with the faded lavender petals that your grandmother gave you. You almost threw it away, thinking it was too fragile for the journey, too broken to belong in a fresh start. But I prompted your hand to wrap it in that old newspaper. Why? Because I do not discard the weathered. I do not replace the soul just because it has a few cracks. That mug sits on your new counter now, a testament to the fact that your history is not a burden. It is the foundation. I watched you yesterday, standing in the middle of the kitchen, clutching a roll of packing tape like a lifeline, wondering if you had made a terrible mistake. I saw the way your heart hammered against your ribs when you realized the grocery store is 3 miles further away, and the commute will add 20 minutes to your morning. You feel exposed, like a crab that has outgrown its shell and is scuttling across the open sand toward a new crevice. Do not fear the open spaces. The distance you now travel is not wasted time. It is a buffer I have built for you, a 20-minute sanctuary where you and I can talk before the world demands your attention. Think of the small garden bed by the back fence. It looks neglected now, choked with the dried husks of last year's weeds. But beneath that gray soil, I have already begun the alchemy of transformation. There are bulbs there, planted by someone you will never meet, waiting for the warmth of a spring you haven't yet seen. You are like those bulbs. You feel buried, perhaps even forgotten in the chaos of boxes and bubble wrap, but you are actually planted. There is a specific kind of light that hits the living room at 4:15 in the afternoon. It turns the air into liquid gold. I want you to be there for it. I want you to sit on the floor, even if the sofa hasn't arrived, and let that light wash over your face. That is my signature on the deed of your life. You have been carrying a heavy box labeled regrets from move to move, tucking it away in the back of closets, afraid to open it but unable to let it go. Leave it in the garage tonight. Or better yet, leave it at the curb. You don't need to unpack the version of yourself that failed in seasons past. You don't need to find a place for the shame of the relationships that didn't survive the transition. In this house, the closets are for your hopes and the drawers are for your peace. Do you remember the blue dress you wore to that wedding 3 years ago? The one you haven't worn since because it reminds you of a time when you felt small. I want you to put it on tomorrow. Walk through these halls in it. Reclaim the garment. Reclaim the body. Reclaim the joy. The neighbors, the ones with the wind chimes that sound like low-pitched bells, they don't know yet that they are living next to a miracle. They see a new resident. I see a lighthouse. Your presence here will change the temperature of this street. When you walk your dog in the morning, Notice the oak tree at the corner. Its roots have cracked the sidewalk, an insistent pushing of life through the concrete. That is your spirit now. You are breaking through the shoulds and musts of your old life to find the am of your true existence. I am not just moving your furniture. I am repositioning your soul to catch a different wind. You feel the draft under the front door. Don't worry about the cold. It's a reminder that this house breathes. It is alive, just as you are. We are weaving a tapestry here, and while the colors might seem muted today, the pattern is one of resilience. Notice the way the light from the street lamp outside creates a lattice work on your ceiling. It looks like a net, doesn't it? A safety net I have stretched beneath your life to catch you if you feel like you are falling through the cracks of this transition. You have spent so many years being the one who holds everything together, the one who packs the boxes, the one who labels the memories, the one who ensures everyone else's comfort. In this new space, I am inviting you to be the one who is held. I am the walls, I am the floor, I am the roof that keeps the storms from reaching your heart. Do you remember that small, cedar-lined box you found at the bottom of the linen closet? The one containing the dried rose and the ticket stub from the concert where you first felt your heart wake up. You thought those things were trivial, relics of a person you no longer recognize, but I see them as markers on a map. They are the "you are here" dots in the geography of your becoming. Don't hide them away. Place them on the windowsill where the morning sun can touch them. They are not baggage, they are beauty. I know your back aches from the heavy lifting, and your mind is a blur of utility deposits and address changes. The logistics of survival have a way of drowning out the whispers of the spirit. But even in the spreadsheet of your moving expenses, I am there. I am the unexpected refund, the neighbor who offers a hand without being asked, the sudden sense of calm that washes over you when you finally find the box containing your bedsheets. You are worried about the what-ifs. What if the neighbors are loud? What if the roof leaks? What if you never feel like you belong in this zip code? To those questions, I offer you the same answer I gave to the stars when I hung them in the void. I have already provided. The provision isn't just in the paycheck, it is in the peace. The roof might leak, but I am your shelter. The neighbors might be loud, but I am your stillness. You are not moving toward a perfect building. You are moving toward a deeper intimacy with me. I want you to think about the kitchen table. It hasn't been assembled yet. Its legs are still wrapped in cardboard, but I can already see the meals we will share there. I see the tears you will shed over a cup of tea when the loneliness of the newness hits you, and I see the laughter that will eventually vibrate through the wood when you host your first guest. I have already blessed the crumbs that will fall on that floor. I have already sanctified the steam rising from your stove. You are worried that you are starting over, but in my kingdom, there is only deeper. This isn't a restart, it's a renovation of the heart. The old house was a chrysalis. It was tight, it was dark, and it was necessary, but you cannot fly if you stay in the silk. Each item you pull out is a conversation between us. Lord, where does this go? It goes where you can see it, my child. And this? That goes in the bin. You don't need that version of yourself anymore. We are curating your life together. We are filtering out the noise and keeping the melody. Look at your hands. They are dusty and tired. They have carried the weight of your entire world this week. Let me take that weight now. Let me be the foundation that doesn't shift. Sleep now in the cradle of this new beginning. The crickets outside are singing a lullaby I composed specifically for your first night here. They are telling the earth that you have arrived, and the earth is welcoming you home. We are just getting started. You and I, there are rooms in your soul that are still locked, doors I have yet to show you how to open. But for tonight, the front door is locked, the windows are shut, and you are tucked into the palm of my hand. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. The morning light is different here, isn't it? It doesn't strike the wall with the same harshness as it did in that narrow basement apartment where you spent those 3 long years of waiting. Here, The sun drapes itself over the windowsill like a soft, golden veil, warming the very air you breathe. I watched you wake up just now, your eyes fluttering open, searching for the familiar cracks in the ceiling that are no longer there. You reached for the phone, habit pulling you toward the noise of the world, but then you felt it, that heavy, holy silence. That is the silence of a clean slate. I have cleared the ledger for you. Every regret you packed into those cardboard boxes has been intercepted by my grace. You think you brought them with you, hidden at the bottom of the bin labeled miscellaneous, but I replaced them with seeds while you weren't looking. You will find them later when you start to dig in the garden of this new life. Stand up now. Your feet on these floorboards are making a new sound, a resonant thud that says you have weight, you have presence, you have a place. Walk into the kitchen. I know you haven't found the coffee filters yet, and the box with the kettle is buried under the coats, but stay a moment in the stillness. Look at the way the shadows of the leaves outside dance on the linoleum. I planted those trees 40 years ago, long before you were born, knowing that on this specific morning, you would need to see the rhythm of their shade to remind you that I am patient. You have spent so much of your life rushing, trying to outrun the feeling of being misplaced. You thought that if you just worked harder, if you just stayed in that city that swallowed your joy, you could eventually earn the right to belong. But belonging is not a wage you earn. It is a gift I give. This house is a physical manifestation of that gift. Remember the night you sat on the cold floor of your old bathroom, crying because the rent was going up and your heart was going down. You asked me if I had forgotten you. I was already here, painting the sunrise you are looking at right now. I was already arranging the neighbors you haven't met yet, the elderly woman 2 doors down who will teach you how to bake bread, and the young couple across the street who will need the very wisdom you gained through your years of loneliness. Your pain was not wasted. It was tuition for the school of empathy you are now graduating from. Open that small box near the sink, the one you taped shut twice. Yes, the one with the old photographs. You have been afraid to look at them because they represent a version of you that felt broken. But look at your face in that picture from 5 years ago. See the tightness in your jaw. You were trying to hold your world together with nothing but your own flickering strength. I want you to see that the person in that photo is a stranger now. You are more fragile today, perhaps, but you are also more porous, and that is what I need. I need you to be porous so my love can flow through you instead of just bouncing off your armor. The career shift you are contemplating, the one that keeps you up at 3:00 a.m. wondering if you are a fool to leave the security of the known. Listen to the pipes humming in the walls. They are steady. My provision for you is steadier still. You are not just changing addresses. You are changing your source of identity. You are no longer the one who survives. You are the one who is cherished. I want you to go to the window and look out at the backyard. It looks overgrown, doesn't it? The weeds have taken liberties and the fence needs a coat of paint. You might see a chore, but I see a metaphor. This yard is your soul. For years, you let others trample through it, leaving their trash and their expectations. Here, there is a gate. You are allowed to lock it. You are allowed to decide who gets to sit under your trees. I am giving you the authority to curate your company as carefully as you curated your belongings this week. Do you remember the blue sweater you almost threw away because it reminded you of a season of loss? I am glad you kept it. Not because of the memory of the sorrow, but because of the memory of your own resilience, someone who was brave enough to love even when it was risky. I want you to wear that bravery here, but this time, wear it for yourself. Wear it as you walk into this new neighborhood, not as a guest, but as a resident. There is a specific corner in the living room where the light pools at 4 in the afternoon. That is where I want you to put your chair. Not the desk where you work, but the chair where you dream. You have forgotten how to dream without a deadline attached to it. You have forgotten how to imagine a future that isn't just a list of problems to solve. In this house, we are going to practice the art of holy daydreaming. We are going to look at the dust motes dancing in the light and realize they don't have a to-do list, yet they are performing a masterpiece. You are worried about the money, the mortgage, the logistics of the move. I own the cattle on 1,000 hills, and I own the hills themselves. Do you think I brought you this far to let the foundation crumble? I am the architect. I don't build on sand. I have set your life upon a rock, and even though the scenery has changed, the stone remains the same. Feel the air coming through the screen door. It smells of damp earth and possibility. That is the breath of the Spirit, moving through the hallways of your heart, clearing out the lingering scent of old sorrows. The hallway closet has a slight creak when you open it, a small voice of wood and hinge that reminds you this house has a history, just as you do. You were worried that moving here meant abandoning your past, but I don't discard history. I redeem it. Look at the small wooden box you tucked away on the top shelf. It contains the letters you never sent, the apologies you rehearsed but never delivered. I want you to leave them there for a while, not to brood over them, but to acknowledge that you are a person who has tried, a person who has cared deeply, even when it wasn't reciprocated. In this new space, your capacity to care will finally find a soft place to land. I have prepared the hearts of the people you will encounter in this zip code. The barista at the corner shop who is secretly praying for a sign that goodness still exists. You will be that sign, not by what you say, but by the peace that will eventually radiate from your face once you have truly rested. And you must rest. You have been in survival mode for so long that your nervous system thinks peace is a threat. When you sit in the silence of this afternoon, your heart might race, wondering what you should be doing, what crisis you should be managing. In those moments, I want you to place your hand on the wall. Feel the solidity of the plaster. I am that wall. I am the structure that holds you up when your own internal pillars feel shaky. I am also the window, providing the perspective you lack. You are currently looking at the move as a series of tasks, but I am looking at it as a rescue mission. I rescued you from the version of yourself that thought she had to be small to be safe. In this house, the ceilings are higher for a reason. They are there to accommodate your growth. They are there to give your prayers more room to rise before they reach my ears. Do you remember that dream you had years ago about the studio? The one with the easel and the light that never seemed to fade. Look at the spare room. You have already thought about using it for storage, for the extra boxes of files from the job you hate. I am asking you to reconsider. I am asking you to leave room for the useless things, the painting, the writing, the music that serves no purpose other than to bring us both joy. I didn't create you to be a machine of productivity. I created you to be a garden of delight. This move is your permission slip to stop performing. You don't have to prove to this neighborhood that you are successful. You don't have to prove to me that you are worthy of this space. You are here because I love you, and that is the only credential you will ever need. As the sun climbs higher, you will notice a small stain on the floor in the hallway, a mark left by someone who lived here long ago. Don't scrub it away just yet. Let it remind you that perfection is not the requirement for holiness. This house has been lived in, loved in, and perhaps even cried in, and it is still standing. You have been lived in, loved in, and definitely cried in, and you are still standing. We are a good match, you and this house. Together, we are going to breathe life into these corners. I am going to show you how to inhabit your own skin with the same ease that you will eventually inhabit these rooms. This is not just a change of scenery. It is a change of soul climate. The winter of your spirit is ending, and the first buds of a new spring are pushing through the soil of your heart. Stay with me in this feeling. Don't rush into the boxes. Don't rush into the future. Just be here, in the palm of my hand, in the center of my will, in the middle of your new living room. You are home, and we have only just begun to explore what that means. The silence here is not an empty thing, it is a waiting thing. It is the silence of a blank page, or the moment before the first note of a symphony is struck. You are worried that you have brought the old ghosts with you, the ones that whispered you weren't enough, the ones that kept track of your failures like a meticulous bookkeeper. But I have barred the door against them. They do not have the keys to this place. Only you do, and I am the one who shaped the metal to fit the lock. Look at your hands. They are trembling slightly, not from cold, but from the sheer electricity of a new beginning. I saw you last night, looking at the photographs of the life you left behind, the faces of people who are no longer in your daily orbit, the rooms where you learned what it meant to be lonely even when you weren't alone. You were afraid that by moving here, you were betraying the version of yourself that survived those rooms. But I tell you, that version of you is the one who bought this ticket. That version of you is the one who had the courage to say, I am worth a new view. Do you remember that rainy Tuesday 3 years ago when you stood in your old kitchen and felt a sudden, sharp pang of displacement, as if you were a puzzle piece forced into the wrong box? I was there then, whispering that there was a place where you would click into position with a sigh of relief. This is that place. The floorboards beneath your feet are white oak, seasoned and strong, and they do not groan under the weight of your uncertainty, they support it. I want you to walk to the window, the one that looks out over the small garden that has been neglected for too long. See the tangled ivy and the stubborn weeds. That is what happens when we stop tending to the soil of our joy. But look closer. Underneath that tangle, there are dormant bulbs, lilies and irises that haven't seen the sun in seasons. We are going to dig there. We are going to get our hands dirty in the literal and metaphorical earth. You've always been afraid of the mess, haven't you? You've tried to keep your life in neat, labeled containers, fearing that if one thing spilled, the whole shelf would collapse. But here, in this house, we are going to learn the holiness of the spill. We are going to learn that a heart that is wide open is inherently messy, and that is exactly where I do my best work. You think you are here to decorate a house, but I am here to redecorate your perspective. I am peeling back the wallpaper of your old anxieties. I am sanding down the rough edges of your self-doubt. Can you feel the breeze coming through the slightly ajar window? It smells of rain and wet stone and the distant promise of cedar. That is the scent of your future. It doesn't smell like your past. Your past smelled of stale air and the heavy perfume of should-haves. This is the scent of could-be. I want you to think about that specific fear you have, the one about whether you have what it takes to start over at this stage of your journey. I want you to take that fear and set it down on the mantelpiece. Leave it there. It doesn't need to follow you into the bedroom. It doesn't need to sit with you at the table. It is just an object now, not a part of your identity. You have spent so long carrying your burdens as if they were your bones. They are not your bones. Your bones are made of starlight and the memory of my breath. Your burdens are just luggage, and you have permission to leave them in the hallway. Let's talk about the light in the hallway at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It turns a deep, honeyed gold. It is the exact color of the light that hit the back of your head when you were 6 years old, playing in the grass, before the world told you to be careful, before you learned how to be afraid. I am bringing that light back to you. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten. You aren't just moving into a neighborhood. You are moving into a state of grace. You have spent your life being a guest in other people's expectations. Now, you are the host. You are the one who decides who gets to enter this sanctuary. You are the one who decides what kind of music fills these walls. And I am here, the silent guest at every meal, the one who watches you sleep and finds your snoring to be a beautiful rhythm of life. Don't worry about the boxes yet. The tape and the cardboard can wait. For now, I just want you to lean your forehead against the cool glass of the window and breathe. Feel your lungs expand. That is me filling you up. Feel the beat of your heart. That is me keeping time. You are not just a tenant here, you are the steward of a sacred space. And I have chosen you for this house because your spirit has the same hidden depths, the same secret passages, and the same capacity for warmth as these walls. We are going to uncover them together. There is a closet under the stairs, small and dark, that you haven't looked in yet. You're afraid of what's in there, aren't you? You think it's where the secrets live. But when you finally open it, you'll find nothing but an old mirror and a bit of discarded ribbon. You'll look in that mirror, and for the first time in a decade, you won't look for the wrinkles or the tired lines around your eyes. You'll look at the spark in your pupils and realize that you are finally, truly, waking up. This move is your awakening. It is the moment you stop surviving and start inhabiting. And I am so proud of the way you tucked your fear into your pocket and turned the key. I am so proud of the way you stood in the empty rooms and didn't run back to the familiar misery of the old place. You are brave, even when you feel like a leaf in the wind. And here in this house, I am the stone that will hold you steady. I am the roof that will keep you dry. I am the very air you are breathing right now. Can you feel it? The house is sighing with you. It is glad you are here. It has been waiting for a soul like yours to give it a reason to be a home again. We have so much to do. You and we have stories to write on these walls, not with ink, but with the way we live our days. We have laughter to echo in the rafters, but for this moment, just be the echo. Be the light. Be the presence. You are home, and the night is going to be beautiful.